Hey, what's up, folks? Wild Child Luxy, and welcome to the office. Today, on the show, I got my running mate, CHS guru Barbara Khan.
Hello there, you too.
And they come visit me today. Come visit all the animals, and she want to talk about iguanas and let us know like what's her personal experiences with these animals. I love iguanas. So, Barbara, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Lon. Thanks for having me here.
And man, it's a pleasure. It's a pleasure. So, I mean, I understand you're running for member at large this year.
Yeah, I thought try to get my foot in the door and see how it is on the other side. You know.
Yeah. Me, I've been on the board for 2 years. Member of the Tulsa Hurt Club, and right now, you know, every year I go visit Ray Archery, where you know he's doing work against rattlesnake roundup. DC, you know, like what's his thoughts about rattlesnakes roundups, and it's the same answer. It's just more economical thing. The people does this, you know, just to make money. Where they sell like rattlesnake meat and you know, it's just
skins
a more
and all the rattles
skins and yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like you gonna kill up a cow, cut up and sell the parts. I mean, come on.
Yeah,
There's just got to be some into that, you know.
Yeah, you know.
Just make a quick buck. You're gonna hurt an animal and make a quick buck. That's just, you know, and especially when there's some species that are becoming endangered and etc. and it's just not right.
And the way they do it, you know, I spent 2 years in Tulsa. I mean, not 2 years, but 2 summers in Tulsa, and it's like the footage I've seen where they take these rattlesnakes and they just like sew their mouth closed, you know, because if you take a rattlesnake, chances is, you know, it'll bite, it'll snap, you know, it's aggressive. But they sewing the mouths closed and putting them on ice. And
that's abuse,
I've seen,
you know,
footage where these rattlesnakes was put in cages, no water, and, you know, all for, you know, fundraising.
Well, it's instinct. They use their bite, you know, for food and for defense. So if you're going to go ahead and do all that, it amounts to abuse. Yeah, I mean, just ask them how they like to have their mouths sewn shut while they're still alive, you know? Come on. It's got to be a limit to things like that.
Wow. Yeah.
You know? I mean, their natural defense is to bite. If you don't want to get bit, leave them alone.
Yeah, leave them alone.
You know?
Leave them alone.
Find something else to make money off of. Make imitation snake skin stuff. I don't know.
Well, I think what they should do, like with rattlesnake roundups, if they is going to round up rattlesnakes, I think they ought to, you know, just like we do with the CHS, you know, we have, like with Reptile Fest, we have an educational show. I think if they're going to round up rattlesnakes, they should have a roundup educational show where, you know, they put the snakes on display and, you know, talk about their natural range and origins and natural habitats, you know, instead of selling the meat and killing them and, you know, using them for belts and skins. I understand that they're going to use them for belts and skins, but it ought to be a limit to, like, the numbers. You know, instead of hundreds of rattlesnakes, maybe like, okay, let's sacrifice 100 rattlesnakes a year, you know, they're used for belts and skins in the exotic trade.
You can accomplish that without hurting them. You know, you got schools and museums and all kind of cool places that you can have. You know, the Notre Dame Museum in Chicago, for example, they have a little, you know, snake display, and they have the person with the snake handler experience, and they have the people standing around watching the snakes not harm. The people learn all that they can about them. That's the way to go. You don't have to hurt them to learn about them. And saw that Belize has a iguana restoration project where they have a lot of baby hatchlings on farms and they release them back in the wild, because I hear that some of the tribes eat the females and eat the eggs. But when you think an animal that's so common is needing, you know, a project to restore their population in the wild, it makes you go like, wow. People don't think about that because they figure it's not a big deal, it's just a lizard, you know. But here in Florida, they got them running around like pigeons.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah,
so because people are careless, they release their pets in there and they just reproduce and grow, and they take over people's pools and backyards and stuff. What they do when they found, they kill them rather than turn them over someplace to take them where they can be, you know, safe and, you know, living, you know.
Yeah, that's like iguana I picked up, like last year, you know, it was at the Chicago animal house. It's a veterinarian office. Pooch, you know, she didn't have a home, and I was like 1 day away from her euthanization. If I wouldn't have came like that day, the next day they was gonna put her down. Yeah.
I even look in Craigslist online.
So I mean, so Barb, like, I mean, how many iguanas do you have in your collection?
Well, the most I've had was 6. Right now I have 2. And the reason for that is that I have a very close friend who has 25 years iguana experience. And there are some times when, you know, he has room for an extra 1 or 2. So I let my mind go hang out with his, you know, bunch of iguanas, and they usually dig enough and they want to stay. It's cool. On the other hand, he might have some who maybe they're sick or they're having a hard time adjusting to a new home. So I take them home and I give them some one-on-one, because he has the expertise but not so much time. What I have is experience and lots of time. So there are times when we actually exchange iguanas over a short period.
Oh, okay.
So I had to move into a smaller apartment, so I had to give up like 4 of my iguanas to Dan, which I always trust him no matter what happens. I always trust him with my babies, because a lot of my babies came from his habitat. So
yeah, you know, I know Dan do a lot of good work, you know, as far as iguanas. You know, I've been over to Dan's house, and he got like this iguana castle built in the middle of the, you know, in the middle of his bedroom, and it's like 25 to 30 iguanas, and you know, they all like communicating and socializing with one another.
They climb and hang with each other.
And every one he has a story about. You know, you pick a name, you know, he got a story. And, you know, as far as, you know, it could be like a real intimate story. I mean, Dan is like real hands-on with iguanas. I think, you know, Animal Planet ought to, you know, really look at Dan, you know, just like they made Meerkat Manor and Jane Goodall with the apes. I mean, he's
Steve
like
Irwin. He could be the next Steve Irwin.
He could be like the next Steve Irwin of iguanas.
Yeah. I mean, he, you know, if an iguana by some strange chance gets loose, he goes out looking for him, puts up signs. A couple of times he's climbed trees to get to him. I mean, you know, he leaves no stone unturned, you know.
Yeah, that's real great. That's real great.
And this in my hand, by the way, is Florence. It belongs to Lawrence. Came from Dan.
Yeah,
she's
she
frisky,
came to me like a few
you know,
months
me and
ago.
her are having a little, you know, issue because she doesn't know me, but she also knows that I'm not a threat to her. I'm not afraid of her, so she's trying to figure what to make of me. So, right, Florence? Ain't that right? She's, you know. I just wish you guys could be here and see all the different animals this guy has. And takes good care of every last one of them.
I take good care of all my animals, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, the work I do here at the office is just like endless. You know, I take care of these animals. I do shows with CHS or anybody who would have me. You know, I love talking about reptiles. I've been a part of reptiles ever since I was 11. And you know, this is where it started. I grew up chasing snakes and chasing frogs. And now I'm like ambassador of reptiles. And I mean, I enjoy every minute of it.
When I saw you take home that last big iguana from our last Herp Society meeting, I'm like, this is a little black Steve Irwin up here. Because you had that iguana in your hand, alligator rolling, it was like a little alligator in your hands, man. It was just so cool to watch, though. But now when we see him, he's content. He's got his little house there, and he seems content with himself. I even got to hold him for a while. He didn't fuss too much, but once he got under my chin comfortable, then he was all right. So, I mean, like with iguanas, it's like when you have any kind of pet, you don't know how it's going to react to a new environment. Even when you buy him from a pet store, and you bring him home, it's just a matter of seeing how he reacts. Different iguanas react differently. We have experienced some who pass out of sheer depression. Very few pass from, being sick. But for the most part, with time and the right interaction, they go on to become very comfortable where they are, as long as they have their basic needs, and a lot of as much attention as you can give them.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. Well, folks, thanks for joining us at the office. This was Barbara Khan. It's been an honor, a true honor. Visit us next time, and I'll be talking about January's Herp of the Month. I'm Wild Child Luxy, and thanks for visiting the office.
Been a pleasure here, man. Been a pleasure, y'all.